to be 1.8 metres, so the blue whale dwarfs all of them. Of course, here is the range of the blue whale. And now I'm going to show you all a big cat that not many people know about. It is the Asiatic lion. Now, Asiatic lions are a very different species to their African cousins. And for one thing, they're smaller than the African lion. They have a distinctive fold of skin down the along the underbelly. But also, the males have smaller manes, which are quite often darker, and also you can actually see their ears. But the main difference is how they have their social lives. In Africa, prides are mixed with and a lot bigger, but in India, the Asiatic lion prides are a lot more different. They're led by females with their young. Mature males only join a pride briefly to either mate or if there's a big kill on offer. And quite often, male Asiatic lions live alone or in loose bachelor groups of about 3 to 4 animals. Of course, they also hunt very different prey, because they do work together like African lions. I mean, they hunt mostly samba deer and wild boar. And of course, what many people don't know is these lions are the lions of ancient Greece and the Bible. In fact, the Asiatic lion once stretched across northern India, through to the Middle East, and even into Europe as far as Greece. They're the lions of ancient Greece and the Bible, the lions that Androcles and Daniel faced, the lion that was believed to have been what the Nemean lion that Hercules fought was based on. But also, they were among the Barbary lions that were the lions that the Romans set upon the Christians in the Colosseum. But unfortunately, the Asiatic lions in the wild in northwest India are now the very last of that ancient race. As the Asiatic lions were heavily persecuted throughout the 1800s, right into the 1950s, now there's only about 600 of them left in the wild, and that's only in northwest India, like the Gaia Forest Reserve. And of course, it is very vital to build breeding populations of these cats in captivity, but there are a few issues with the breeding programs of Asiatic lions. One of them being that a lot of the ones we have today are unfortunately results of inbreeding, which has led to many genetic dysfunctional problems with them. But there are people working to bring these lions back from the brink, and one thing that was actually done fairly recently was that Asiatic lions were brought back to the countries of Iran and I think somewhere in Saudi Arabia, which was part of their historic range. But also the lions from the Gaia Forest National Park are slowly spreading to the rest of the Gaia Forest area and around it. So hopefully, if people learn to coexist alongside these cats, as well as build up breeding populations of them in captivity, we can save these animals from extinction. And of course, here is a few comparisons. I mean, the first one is the African lion and the Asiatic lion, two very different cats, but also the Asiatic and the African lions and of course the Barbary lion, which unfortunately is now extinct in the wild and only exists in captivity. But with the Barbary lion, there are people hoping to bring them back from from extinction in the wild, but I've only heard rumours about that. But yeah, Asiatic lions are a lot smaller than the African lion and of course the Barbary lion. Of course, this was the historic range of the Asiatic lion, but right now the only place they can be found is right here in northwest India. But around here they have apparently been reintroduced in around here, so there is hope that these cats can come back from extinction. And now, the next animals I'm going to show you are some of the most important but vastly misunderstood of all creatures. Vultures. Vultures, to me, are some of the most beautiful, and I'm just going to say as well, some of the most gorgeous creatures on the planet. Now, of course, to many people, they see them and are like, oh no, not vultures, they're ugly and evil creatures, bring bad omens and spread death. And that's actually not true. In fact, vultures don't spread death because they're called the undertakers of the bush, and reason for that is because when an animal dies, they consume it and they prevent the spread of diseases that could not only affect the wildlife but also affect the humans. Vultures are also very, very intelligent creatures, and also they have some of the best eyesight of all creatures. In fact, their vision is said to be 8 times better than ours. But unfortunately, vultures in Asia are in terrible trouble, and it's all down to a veterinary drug that farmers use on their cattle. And unfortunately, when the cows die, the vultures consume it. It builds up in their system, causes a lot of problems like kidney failure, and then eventually it kills them. And unfortunately, this is causing for cats and dogs in urban areas to start scavenging, and that is now bringing leopards into cities, which means that leopards are now attacking people as well as domestic wildlife. And so without vultures, they're just cleaning up the carcasses of dead animals, then other animals are taking over and just throwing everything out of balance. But another thing that's impressive about vultures is they have very, very strong stomach acid, and not just they don't just digest meat, but also a lot of the unpleasant diseases that can be found in a carcass. And if you get too close to a vulture, they will actually vomit up the contents of their stomach right into your face. And while it's a very effective way of getting rid of predators, it can be fairly unpleasant for a person, and I can see why a lot of people tend not to like them, but I personally think they are incredible creatures. And this is their range in Asia. And of course, for the final one that I'm going to show you is, the final animal I'm going to show you of Asia is one of the most beautiful and elusive predators. It is the clouded leopard. Now, clouded leopards aren't very big cats. I mean, they're probably a little bit bigger than a domestic cat, but don't let that fool you. They are very fierce predators. In fact, they have the largest canine teeth compared to skull size of any carnivore. And of course, people always, when they see their coat, they think that's how they got the name Clouded Leopard, because it looks like the clouds, but actually they originally got their name because they hunt up in the canopy, up in the treetops. A lot of what they eat are things like monkeys and birds, and even the primates, the gibbon, which is is one which is an ape and can get away from them quite quickly, but how they catch their prey is they get as close as they can and then leap at it and then finish it off with a bite to the neck. And as you can see, those canine teeth are absolutely enormous. As I said, they have the largest canine teeth compared to skull size of any predator. But also, what's incredible is also their feet. I mean, a clouded leopard's ankles can actually invert, like turn almost completely around, so they can run up and down a vertical tree trunk, almost like a squirrel. So they are a master of the forest floor and the tree tops. Of course, while a clouded leopard wouldn't see a human being as prey, they could probably do me an awful lot of damage. But of course, when I said they are one of the hardest animals to find, I'm not even joking. A lot of people can spend their whole lives in clouded leopard territory and not come across one, because they are very, very hard to find. Of course, this is their range. As you can see, they're found mainly in like Southeast Asia. And well, that was it. That was my PowerPoint presentation on 12 animals of Asia. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please do drop a comment down below, as well as check out my other videos. Thank you. Bye now.